Lamine Yamal. Imagine a young footballer so fearless, so determined, that he dares to leap into the highest echelons of the beautiful game while barely out of his teens. If you believe in the power of boldness, in the strength of a single life-changing moment, hit that like button and subscribe now. Because today, we're diving into the inspiring journey of Lamine Yamal, a 17-year-old beacon of hope who transformed pressure into opportunity and redefined what it means to dream big. From the sun-drenched streets of Spain, in a modest neighborhood where every corner echoed with the sound of laughter and local chatter, Lamine's love for football was nurtured from the moment he could walk. Growing up in a tight-knit community, his earliest memories are filled with images of narrow cobblestone alleys, open fields where neighbors gathered to play, and the irresistible call of the game that promised an escape from life's challenges. His family, proud and resilient, instilled in him values of hard work and humility. His mother, a gentle soul with a fierce love for her children, always reminded him that true greatness isn't measured by your age or your wealth, but by the size of your heart and the courage of your convictions. His father, who had played football in local leagues before life took him on different paths, would spend long evenings telling tales of matches won against impossible odds, stories that lit a fire in young Lamine's heart. It was in this environment, amid everyday struggles and simple joys, that Lamine discovered his passion for football. Every afternoon, whether playing on worn-out pitches or in the narrow streets of his neighborhood, he dreamed of a future where he would wear the colors of a great club, not just as a player, but as an inspiration to others. As a child, Lamine's natural ability was evident to everyone who saw him play. Neighbors marveled at the way he would dribble past older kids with ease, his nimble feet turning every touch into a moment of magic. Coaches from local clubs took note. This was a boy who played not just with his body, but with his soul. It wasn't long before scouts from FC Barcelona's world-renowned La Masia Academy began to circulate stories about the prodigy from the neighborhood. The promise of his talent, mixed with his unwavering work ethic, meant that at an early age he was invited to join one of the most elite football academies in the world. At La Masia, every day was a masterclass in football. Lamine's routine began before the sun crept over the horizon. In the quiet early hours, while most children still slept, he laced up his worn boots and headed out to train on the academy's pristine fields. The days were long, filled with rigorous drills designed to perfect every aspect of his game, from close-controlled dribbling and lightning-fast passing to tactical positioning and defensive awareness. Coaches would often remark on his almost preternatural ability to absorb complex instructions, adapting his style with a maturity that belied his youth. His teammates, many of whom had been at La Masia for years, soon began to look up to him, not just because of his natural talent, but because of the infectious passion he brought to every practice session. There were moments during those intense training sessions when Lamine's eyes would light up as he mastered a new technique or found a way to outsmart a drill that had frustrated him for days. His progress wasn't just measured in goals or assists, but in the small victories that built his confidence. He learned early on that every drop of sweat, every extra hour spent refining his skills when no one was watching, was an investment in his future. And while his journey at La Masia was marked by countless hours of solitude and self-improvement, it was also filled with camaraderie. The bonds he forged with his fellow trainees, boys from all corners of the globe, each with their own dreams and struggles, became a source of strength and inspiration. Together, they celebrated victories, shared burdens, and pushed each other to be the best versions of themselves. In the midst of such fierce competition, Lamine learned that true greatness was not only about individual brilliance, but also about uplifting those around you. By his mid-teens, Lamine Yamal had become one of the brightest stars emerging from Barcelona's youth system. Every match he played, whether a friendly or a competitive fixture, was watched with keen interest by coaches, scouts, and fans alike. His style of play was a heady mix of raw skill and an instinctive understanding of the game, a blend of technical finesse, lightning-fast decision-making, and an unyielding desire to push his limits. It was clear that his rise wasn't just the result of natural talent. It was the outcome of years of relentless training, moments of quiet introspection, and the courage to take risks even when the outcome was uncertain. Then came the bold leap, the moment when Lamine Yamal, barely 16, was called up to make his debut for FC Barcelona's first team. The decision to promote him was met with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. Barcelona, a club steeped in history and legacy, is not known for taking chances lightly. The pressure was immense. The world was watching, and every expectation, every whispered doubt, weighed heavily on the young prodigy's shoulders. In the locker room that day, the atmosphere was electric. Veterans with decades of experience, icons of the sport, were preparing for a big match, and among them sat a young boy who had grown up dreaming of moments like this. Lamine's heart pounded in his chest, and as he laced up his boots, he recalled every lesson, every sacrifice, every moment that had led him to this point. He knew that to step onto that hallowed turf was to enter a world where mistakes were unforgiven, where every touch, every pass was scrutinized by millions. Yet he also understood that this was his moment to shine, to prove that age is no barrier when determination is boundless. The day of his debut arrived like a scene from a movie. The stadium, a sea of red and blue, vibrated with anticipation. As Lamine stepped onto the pitch, he was acutely aware of the eyes fixed on him, not just of the fans, but of the media and the critics who were ready to judge his every move. And then it happened. In the first 15 minutes of the match, he received a pass in a crowded midfield, evaded a tackle with a quick flick of his foot, and sent a precise, low cross into the penalty area. The pass was perfectly weighted, a blend of instinct and precision that only comes from countless hours of practice in relative obscurity. The moment his cross met the head of a teammate, the crowd erupted. But even more importantly, that moment validated every challenge he had faced. It was a declaration. Lamine Yamal had arrived, and he was here not as a fleeting experiment, but as a force to be reckoned with. Following that match, the narrative around Lamine shifted dramatically. Suddenly, the bold leap he had taken was being lauded as a defining moment, a turning point that signaled a new era for the club and for the sport. Commentators praised his composure, his technical brilliance, and his fearless ambition. Headlines spoke of a new star emerging from the ranks of Barcelona, a player whose talent was matched only by his heart. Yet as accolades poured in, Lamine remained steadfast in his humility. He knew that while the spotlight was dazzling, it could also be unforgiving. With every praise came a new set of challenges, expectations to deliver consistently, to shoulder the weight of his club's illustrious history, and to grow not just as a player, but as a person. The months that followed were a whirlwind of training, matches, and media appearances. Lamine faced moments of criticism too, as every misstep was magnified under the relentless glare of scrutiny. There were games where the pressure of expectations almost got the better of him, where self-doubt crept in like an unwelcome visitor. But it was in these moments of vulnerability that Lamine discovered his true strength. He learned to harness his emotions, turning frustration into fuel, disappointment into determination. He spent long hours after training, not to prove his critics wrong, but to prove to himself that he could always get better, that every setback was merely a setup for a comeback. One particular match, etched into the collective memory of Barcelona fans, became a defining moment in Lamine's journey. It was a high-stakes encounter against one of the fiercest rivals, a game that had the potential to decide the momentum of the season. The pressure was unbearable, with expectations from the club, the fans, and the entire world of football weighing down on his shoulders. In the 68th minute, with the score level and the tension palpable, Lamine found himself in possession of the ball in a critical area of the pitch. With the calmness of a seasoned veteran, he glided past two defenders, his eyes scanning for the opening. In that split second, he made a decision that would define his career, a decision to take control of his destiny. With a deft touch, he chipped the ball over the advancing goalkeeper, sending it into the back of the net. The stadium erupted into euphoria. That single strike, a perfect synthesis of technique, vision, and courage, not only secured a vital victory for his team, but also silenced the critics. It was a moment that encapsulated the very essence of what it means to leap boldly into the unknown and emerge triumphant. But what truly set Lamine Yamal apart was not just his technical prowess on the field, it was his unyielding spirit off it. In interviews following his breakthrough, he spoke of the long hours spent refining his craft in the quiet of early mornings, the sacrifices made behind closed doors, and the unwavering belief that every challenge was an opportunity to grow. "Every time I step onto the pitch, I remember where I came from," he once said. "I remember the dusty fields of my neighborhood, the sacrifices my family made, and the dreams that carried me through every hardship. That memory drives me to give everything, every single day." His words resonated with millions of young athletes around the world, many of whom saw in him a reflection of their own struggles and aspirations. Lamine's journey was a testament to the fact that age is just a number, and that true greatness is defined by the heart and the will to rise above adversity. As his career continued to flourish, Lamine Yamal became a symbol of hope and inspiration, not just for Barcelona fans, but for anyone who has ever dared to dream big in the face of overwhelming odds. His performances on the pitch were a masterclass in audacity and skill, a seamless blend of raw talent, refined technique, and a maturity that belied his years. He became a regular starter, not because of his fame, but because he consistently delivered moments of magic that could alter the course of a match. His vision on the field, his ability to anticipate the movements of his teammates, and his fearlessness in one-on-one situations earned him comparisons to some of the greatest players in the world. Yet despite the accolades and the adulation, Lamine never lost sight of what mattered most: his passion for the game and the humble roots from which he sprang. The road to stardom was not without its share of obstacles. Alongside the relentless pressure of performing at an elite level, Lamine faced the daunting task of balancing his burgeoning career with the responsibilities of growing up in the public eye. There were days when the weight of expectations felt unbearable, when every mistake was amplified and every criticism cut deeper than he had ever imagined. But through these trials, he developed an inner resilience, a quiet determination that whispered, "Keep going, no matter what." He learned that the greatest victories often come after the hardest battles, and that the true measure of a champion is not in the number of goals scored, but in the courage to continue fighting even when the odds seem insurmountable. One of the most touching aspects of Lamine's story is the way in which he has become a beacon of inspiration for young athletes across the globe. His journey from the streets of Spain to the grand stage of professional football has shown countless kids that no matter how small your beginnings, your dreams can take you to unimaginable heights if you dare to leap. In communities both near and far, aspiring footballers look up to him, not only for his dazzling skills on the field, but for the humility and determination that define his character. Schools and grassroots programs have invited him to speak about the importance of hard work, resilience, and the willingness to embrace challenges head-on. His story has transcended the sport, becoming a universal message about the power of belief and the strength that lies within every one of us. Even as he established himself as one of Barcelona's brightest talents, Lamine continued to push the boundaries of his own abilities. He spent countless hours working on his weak points, whether it was perfecting his left foot or improving his defensive contributions when his team was outnumbered. He adopted a regimen that balanced intense physical training with mental conditioning, ensuring that every aspect of his game was honed to perfection. His coaches and mentors marveled at his relentless pursuit of excellence, a quality that set him apart in a world where natural talent is often taken for granted. They recalled long evenings on the training ground when Lamine would stay behind after everyone else had left, running drills until the stars came out, driven by the desire to be the best he could be. In the midst of all this hard work, Lamine's breakthrough moment, his bold leap onto the professional stage, remained a source of constant inspiration. That moment, when he scored that crucial goal and silenced every critic, was a turning point that not only defined his career, but also lit a spark in the hearts of millions. It was a reminder that sometimes the most transformative moments come when you dare to take a risk, when you trust in your own abilities, even if the world around you is filled with doubt. His journey proved that the courage to step out of your comfort zone, to embrace the unknown, is what truly sets champions apart. As the seasons passed, Lamine Yamal's influence on the game grew. His performances on the pitch became synonymous with brilliance under pressure, a flair for the dramatic, a precision that left defenders grasping at air, and a consistency that earned him a place not just among Barcelona's first team, but among the elite of world football. His rise was marked by a series of defining moments, games where his quick thinking turned defense into attack, matches where his vision unlocked doors that no one else could see, and instances where his unyielding spirit shone through in the face of adversity. Each of these moments, individually and collectively, became the building blocks of his legacy, a legacy that inspires others to believe that age is never a limit to what you can achieve. Off the field, Lamine's humility and dedication resonated deeply with fans and aspiring athletes alike. In interviews, he often spoke of the sacrifices that had paved his path, of the early mornings, the long hours away from family and friends, and the constant struggle to balance ambition with responsibility. "Every time I step onto the pitch," he once said, "I carry with me the dreams of my family, my community, and every young person who dares to believe that they can make it. I play not just for myself, but for all those who have ever been told that they're too young, too small, or too inexperienced." His words were a rallying cry, a call to action for anyone who had ever faced rejection or doubt. They reminded us that the journey to greatness is paved with perseverance, and that every setback is simply a setup for a greater comeback. Lamine Yamal's bold leap into the spotlight is more than just a chapter in a footballer's biography. It's a testament to the transformative power of belief, hard work, and the courage to step into the unknown. His story teaches us that even when the world is watching and expecting nothing short of perfection, it is the willingness to risk everything for your dream that can turn the tide. In every dribble, every pass, every goal, there is a story of quiet determination, of hours spent refining a craft in the shadows, and of the relentless pursuit of excellence that defines true champions. As we reflect on Lamine's journey, let it serve as a powerful reminder that no matter how daunting the challenge, no matter how high the expectations, the boldest leaps can lead to the most extraordinary rewards. Whether you're an aspiring athlete, a dreamer chasing a vision, or someone facing your own personal battles, remember that greatness is not measured solely by what the world sees on a grand stage. It's forged in the quiet moments of self-improvement, the private victories over doubt, and the relentless determination to push forward even when the odds are stacked against you. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into Lamine Yamal's bold leap, a story of courage, resilience, and the unyielding spirit of a young man who dared to defy expectations and become a beacon of inspiration for millions around the world. If his journey has touched your heart, if it has reminded you that the true path to greatness is paved with determination and the courage to take risks, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and share this video with anyone who needs a reminder that no matter your age, your dreams are within reach. Here at Pulse of Perseverance Story, we celebrate real stories, real strength, and real hope. Remember, the boldest leaps are taken when you step out of your comfort zone and trust in your own abilities. Let Lamine Yamal's journey inspire you to push past your fears, to embrace challenges head-on, and to keep striving for greatness even when the world tells you it's impossible. Stay inspired, stay determined, and never stop believing in the power of your dreams. Real stories, real strength, real hope.